one of hopefully 5 games, danog. I'm looking for some crazy stuff to come out. I want some craziness.
Any Huskar believers?
You may now select your heroes.
All right.
It might be terrible. Put me off all game. They got the little gun logo. Geek Slate go for the push, right? They've got the Beastmaster. They've got a Dawnbreaker who's a very aggressive early on. Pangolier doesn't need many items either. So how are they going to respond to that? Are they going to feel strong enough to fight into it, or are they going to just look to try and find a trade with the Visage and the Nature's Prophet pushing out another lane?
All right, you were right. We are going by Geek Slate apparently. I checked Facebook, I checked Twitter, they didn't say anything about it. And then we both saw the in-game name. I didn't think their names would change to GS now, so I apologize for doubting you. Take my sincere apology.
Should learn by now, you know?
It's okay.
I'll accept your apology.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I'm a man of I like lessons. I like learning. I made a mistake. We go by Geek
It took you a while to pay up for our last bet, by the way. Eventually it came through. It took a lot of harassing.
Harassing? Come on, I did it straight away. What are you trying to say?
Just straight away, 2 months later.
2 months isn't that bad. I think it was a little bit longer. I think it could have been. I think
I was being
generous.
generous.
Yeah. I think it was a lot longer than 2 months.
I am very, very generous person. All right, bot lane. Bot Rune is being contested right now. Cox should be just fine. Although nice double stun. The 40% damage reduction is going to be enough, though, to enable Geek Slate to get a couple of those ones picked up nice and early.
So talk to me a little bit about this Dawnbreaker getting put on the position 1, Schem playing it. What do we feel like the big reasoning is for them to kind of change the roles on some of their heroes?
I think they just wanted something that was going to absolutely body this Visage, right? Because he is a big part of what's going to speed up the gameplay. And if you're able to get him a much slower level 6, then it means that when you're going for your eventual death ball, Execration don't have that ability to make the trades happen. They won't be able to try and equalize the game. Instead, they'll just have to take a loss, or they'll be forced to fight into something that should be disadvantageous for them, because they've got a lot of strong laners on Geek Slate right now.
A side note, I'm currently watching a spider in my room with 5 flies in its web and doing some nasty stuff to them.
Like spin in the web.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I hate Australia.
Just break out the spray.
Oh, God. I'm joking, by the way. Australia's not that bad. There's no spiders. Come down, everyone.
Some
Lovely
parts.
place.
Yeah, it's something a spider would say.
Spider would say just to catch its prey off guard.
Yeah. Everyone in chat are the flies that you're trying to lure into the web.
It's a long trip down, but well worth it.
Mm-hmm. We got this double range lane, though, against double melee, so Execration should be just fine on this top side. It really doesn't feel like Narman should ever be in a position to be able to make good use out of that Orb of Venom, to be honest. Although he's walked a little bit too far forward. Got to be careful not to make sure that's happening too often. And again, like, you really don't want to have these boars for the laning stage. It feels like Palace, with his treants and the pure damage from the Brain Sap, will be plenty to be able to deal with it there.
Before we get too far into this game and this series as a whole as well, would we like to put some importance on one person in particular and one role? Because I was going to say I think this series will come down to the fours. I think Narman has been incredible so far for Geek Slate through their run, and Shanks, when he's always looking good, it seems like Execration always in a good position.
I'll agree with Narman, but I'm going to put it on Tino for Execration. You know, speaking of Tino, he's actually getting dived at level 2 here, but nice stun coming through from Shanks. That's why I said he was going to be the most influential.
Tino, another round of the Soul Assumption. Might actually turn to Schem. Cautious here with the Dawnbreaker, but it's going to be okay for the moment. That's a lot of mana expended now for Tino, and raindrops are up in a mid arrow. Oh, he ran into it!
The arrow.
Oh, Roger. Okay. Swash. Oh, they actually landed on that last little connection.
Nicely done, nicely done. I mean, this is why they gave the Dawnbreaker that position 1 priority, making sure that, you know, you've got one of the strongest laners just able to completely dumpster this Visage in the lane, and well, he's going to make sure to come back with as much regen as possible. Really not too much that you can do against the Dawn, and she's just going to get even stronger. I believe that's no Soul Ring, just going into the Magic Wand for right now on Schem. I have to wonder about him completing the full wand as well. It's a trend that I've really seen with, Tundra and a lot of the other top teams is that it's not like he's using that item slot for anything else. So could you be better served using that extra 150 gold for something that's actually going to do something,
Are we also going back to Roger? Considering it was Roger before, and I would say anything that is now official in game with their kind of team name in front of it is kind of what they want. That's what I would.
Just Rog. Just stick with Rog.
Rog.
You can never be wrong. Old mate Rog.
Old mate Rog. No Roger? Okay. Old mate Rog.
Roger.
Roger, mate. Roger. Good one.
Up down, bro.
What do you mean? Do you want me hyper? I just took a couple scoops.
I knew you did. there was no reason for you to be this enthusiastic. So let's emphasize that it was pre-workout, completely legal stuff. Okay.
Looks like mid lane, we're going to rotate some supports to try and secure some rooms. Cox will have the top one to work with. Bob's going to have the water rune as well. So both mid lane is getting a lot that they would like. Of course, we're going to see them start to rotate. I think the Pango can easily with the Rolling Thunder.
Carlo might be in a little bit of trouble, yeah.
Yeah, Narman is going to try and hold him down with the Boundless Strike. Not really much Palos can do. Trying to get the right clicks going to maybe get a return kill afterwards. We'll be relying on the treants to hold Force into place, and well, that's not going to be the case. So nicely done for the boys up on Geek Slate.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, just giving him over the free Jingu stacks as well was Palos there. The micro hasn't been as perfect as he has had in recent times, so wasn't able to secure the escape there on Force, and I mean, we've kind of come to expect that from him as well. For those that haven't been watching Dota for a little bit, Force is the old Execration Nico, and he was such a big part of their venture into the major stage back at the Animajor, taking out some pretty strong teams, just falling short of coming through, and he really hasn't put a step wrong since.
No, it's really been a person I've had kind of close eye on, considering all the C games that we've casted. Someone I've really been impressed by with a lot of his performances. Always a treat to watch, Force.
Big part of the success of the old Polaris roster as well.
Yes, without a doubt. Speaking of Force, we've got a Boundless still to work with. Palos, a bit too late on the Sprout. Regardless, they could have cut the tree down, so another kill up top. Force doesn't have the greatest mana to be able to use with the catapult wave.
Yeah, lane's going very well so far, but again, it's another one of these instances that even when Palos isn't getting the kills, he always finds way to pick up the farm. So giving that kill over to Force, that's really the only thing being the difference maker there, is he might be going for a bit of a backstab here, but just already on the move was the Beastmaster. Looks like he might be able to get back to safety, but Carlo's just a little bit too slow, so he won't be able to get the Nightmare off.
Oh, they're going to turn it around, maybe? Narman's looking to put his attention onto Palos. Tiny is starting to TP into the area. Should have the damage required to be able to secure some kills. Even lands the combo onto 2 as well, so Bob gets the maximum amount of damage out of his abilities.
Nicely done, nicely done. Cox as well had the lane shoved all the way in underneath his tower, so he had to find a way to be able to deal with that, and he has done it fairly well, pushing it back, denying about half the lane. Yeah, but I really don't think... Oh, actually,
nice.
Bob gets the toss mid-air. Should be just fine, though.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That's a nice little recovery for Palos, though, right? After that death that he sustained previously, was about 300 or so behind the Beastmaster. He's gone right back ahead, 200 in the green.
What do we feel like Geekslate are going to try and do with this Solar Guardian coming up pretty shortly for Skem? Is there a play that they would be considering?
I mean, it's probably just going to need to be around that level 6 on the Beastmaster as well, right? Where you can maybe make a dive-in happen with Narman, get the stun out, and then even if you get the perfect Nightmare, you're still going to be sustaining a ton of damage, both from the damage over time from the Solar Guardian, as well as the eventual Celestial Hammer to come out afterwards. So it's not like Nightmare is going to be that saving grace.
Would you like it at a specific time, or just as soon as 6 is ready? Could you be
I think
waiting?
as soon as 6 is ready is
Okay.
fine. Like, if you used it immediately, then you'll probably have it up for the 10 minutes anyway. So you could take advantage of both a kill onto the Nature's Prophet, as well as for that pushing potential. And Palace knows that this is about to come. If he's got level 6, they've probably got it coming up very shortly, or already do. So that's why he's playing a little bit more defensive.
There we go. It's going to come out actually to try and get the kill onto the Tinies. Even the arrow for good measure. Multiple heroes from the boys on Geek Slate to try and slow down Bob's game, and that's important. If you can minimize his blink timing, it's a lot of kind of the playing potential across the map on Execration.
I wonder if Palace chooses to go back to the lane now, though, with everything that was just used. You know, Rolling Thunder, Solar Guardian, you've still got the Primal Roar available, and of course that into the arrow is going to be a huge amount of damage, but I just don't think you can afford to give this one up for free too easily. I think you're going to force them to need to wait for that siege creep timing if you're going to feel anyway satisfied about delaying this game enough that your pushing power really comes online.
I think maybe now that they see the tiny TP mid, they might feel a little bit more yeah, a little bit more confident to go for this play. Well, Execration, they're going to try and stop that short though. They will smoke once they shove out the mid lane, and they're already gearing up to be able to defend this top tower.
I wonder if they recognize this, because they've got a observer ward in the bottom side of the river, and they've got one right next to Palace right now, and Bob hasn't shown. So they should know that there's some kind of movement coming, but Force is going to get caught.
That he will. He's got the raw potential to turn around. Maybe the Boundless Strike will give you an opportunity to play with the ultimate. Skem's even going to look to try and TP in as well, but the Centaur Conqueror holds him down. But now as soon as the Rolling Thunder comes out, Execration have no business with continue on through the team fight. They should be able to chase down Shanks, as meanwhile Cox also gets to clean up onto the Bane. So in the end, I believe it'll be 3 members going down, as Skem is rewarded for the kill. Now it does open up bottom, so instantly Tino and Palace in combination together will be able to get a tower.
Yeah, that's what they needed to do, right? They recognized that early on their pushing power, as well as their ability to defend towers, is so much weaker. Force, of course, he was going to be able to get this one, but the fact that they were able to get something in exchange, it's a silver lining. It doesn't feel great because you had to give up 3 heroes for it, and I honestly don't think Geek Slate knew that that was happening. It was just some really fast reactions coming through. Palace just trying to force someone down bottom and then perhaps make a play around that mid lane with the siege creeps. Narman's there to stop him. I think he just wants to stay in these trees, and when the TP starts to happen from Palace, interrupt it.
Good position from Shanks. Pops a smoke, so he sees Cox along with Rogi looking to try and move down bottom. Trying to catch Palace off guard, like you were saying, wanting to try and force some reactions. And
liking this tree dance being maxed out by Narman as well. He is a more greedy player in general, so that's going to enable him to pick up a lot more of that farm, but also means that he can deal on his own with a bit more of this split push.
Yeah, that's actually because now you've got really multiple heroes that can. The Dawnbreaker can play across the map and always have that global potential. Monkey can easily connect with how mobile he is, and the Pango can easily clear waves as well. So Execration, like often a Nature's Prophet lineup really has this big advantage where you can kind of pull the team across the map very easily, but I don't know if they'll be able to play with it as much in a game like this with the draft that we see out of Geek Slate.
Especially once Monkey gets to level 15, right? I would assume that he's going to go the Tree Dance cast range and just be able to roam across the map very easily, even if he has to expend his TP.
And is there even any items that you'd like to see Narman go for? Because the position for Monkey King build can be very, very versatile.
Yeah, I think just something that's going to provide him a bit of regen is going to be pretty solid. I mean, he's got the crown right now, so is he going to go down the route of like an Atos or maybe into a Meteor Hammer? Yeah,
Just
Atos
use it
seems
up.
like the build.
See what they can get out of Geek Slate. Look at the potential from Cox all the way to the back line. Can they address the Bane before he's able to play with the Fiend's Grip to be able to mitigate Cox's impact? And they do just that. Beautifully done on Geek Slate, but they might have some difficulties with catching up to Bob as the boys, they're starting to funnel into the neighborhood. As Shanks lands this stun, the damage is plentiful, and now Skem's in trouble as well, but he will just make it up the high ground. So in the end, Execration, they lose 2, but at least they do get a kill onto the position to Pangolier.
I'm pretty sure Roger and Force got a kill onto Palos up top, though, so very well worthwhile. As Force just continuing to keep that top lane pushed in. He's not going down the route of the Wraith Pact, choosing to go into the Helm of the Overlord as a priority. Completely understandable. Again, I feel like the Bane, once he reaches the level 8, which should be around a similar timing, will be able to mitigate it somewhat. As Bob, will he be able to get this connection? Looks like he will, so going to slow... Oh, okay, if Carlo sniped that, that would have been... Oof.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm like, surely he didn't just snipe the goddamn kill, but at least Bob's going to be able to...
Oh.
Okay, never mind. Won't be able to get that. Okay, we'll get a lot of mana used for it, however, but Bob is getting closer and closer towards the blink, which is incredibly important.
Mm-hmm. It's not like they don't have the heroes that are going to be able to take out the Wraith Pact totem either, right? You've got the Mirana, of course, with the leap for the increased attack speed. You've got a Beastmaster, almost maxed out the Inner Beast already. So if the positioning isn't perfect from Tino, then a big portion of your net worth is going to be wasted in some of these team fights.
Familiar's going to see him in the tree line. Shanks. Ooh, very close. Narman forcing a little bit of attention down to bottom though, so it's opening up the map, but they're not really getting too much, just continuing to farm. There is a big stack at the triangle that it looks like Skem and Cox are going to be able to farm together.
My computer nearly couldn't handle that swashbuckle and the shield crash either.
Damn, you got a freaking potato PC, what's going on?
I don't want to hear about it. You're the one always complaining.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Imagine me complaining?
Dire's top tower
Never.
is under
Never.
attack.
What do you mean?
Radiant are scanning.
Sure, a generous benefactor would send me a new video card.
Oh, of course you're begging.
Dire's middle
Classic.
tower is under
That's not
attack.
begging. It's just a suggestion.
Sounds like begging to me.
Radiant's
Pretty good timing out of the Diffuser Blade on Cox, second in net worth. 100 last hits on the dot. Even got the Tumbler's Toy to work with as well, so see what they can make play. They got their ultimates at the ready for Geek Sleep, but Execration will be able to combat this if they are in the neighborhood. A blink now completed for Bob's Tiny.
I like how they're positioning Roger here. I mean, he's the one to start nuking the wave, but they give the farm to Force, and Roger's just putting himself... Sorry, Rojo is putting himself in the way as well to make sure any kind of smoke ganks just get caught out, because he's so close to that helmet.
Scam should know he's nearby. They're gonna get the proc of the neutral creep, but he doesn't run away fast enough, so Power's even gonna look to TP in as well.
Radiant's middle tower
But look at the reinforce. This is way too deep. Oh no! They haven't been able to connect on the kill, and now all the boys show up.
Bob should be able to get away. It's nighttime, so Bob's going to have that little bit of an advantage so that he's not going to get caught out, but Carlo might not be so lucky.
Gets rid of the nightmares. Still gonna turn it around. Solar Guardian can stop that one short, so you saw Bob was sitting on the right side, but he's under vision now, so he's gonna be cautious. They're gonna look to jump
Might
on
still
this
get
now.
caught.
That he will. He was waiting on the side and never found an opportunity, and well, in the end, that'll cost him his life.
Yeah, and they've got that Helm of the Overlord creep, they've
Oh.
got the Siege creep, they've got a huge wave in mid. And again, Bane, Nyx, Visage, horrible at being able to deal with it. So for now, they're just going to let the wave push in itself.
Well, speaking
and-
about the Visage, Tino might be getting dived under the T1 tower. This is gonna start to get out of control really fast.
We haven't really seen the Nyx have its true value, right? The reason that you picked this up was to be able to have a counter against the Dawnbreaker, but every single Solar Guardian usage has just been where the Nyx isn't. It's been pretty good scouting out, or they're just waiting very patiently for that Carapace to come through, because they got pretty tanky heroes, and Narman's rotations can't be discounted either. Many great Boundless Strikes just providing that extra couple of seconds that they need.
They need to try and get something out of this blink on Bob. This is an item that is solely based off the back of kills, and you're unable to find them, then Tiny's net worth is just going to plummet down.
They can see Shanks as well, just sitting at the top of this stairs in the mid lane, inside the Vendetta, so they're not going to let him just bait out a movement.
They're going to go for this. Cox, he's fine. Gets a shield crash off, and gonna look to retreat now, but Cox might turn. He's got the Rolling Thunder to work with. Carlo's nearby to be able to offset the Pangoliers' potential, but they're starting to wrap from the northern side as well. We're under a looming threat, but actually wants to go back to help with the push from Force, so how do you address this? Arrow?
Oh, the arrow!
No way!
That was
Whoa!
fine.
Oh, no. Now what do? Raw to hold him inside the fireball, and they're starting to move top. Bob at the ready. Radiant are mirroring this movement, though. He's underneath the
They see
Hawk.
him.
There's nothing Bob can do, but or maybe there is. What a blink timing, but Narman, look at him leap on down. Avalanche to hold them back. They won't continue on for more, but a tier 2 tower going down at pre-18 minutes.
Yeah, and they're pinging Roche. They say, we've got pretty decent vision, we've removed a lot of theirs, and
there's
we've
a
got
DD.
control over the outpost. And there's a DD, sure, why not? Just everything going the way of Geek Slate right now. What an arrow, man.
Oh, damn, Rogi. Oh, damn. He's got a mech now as well, so that's going to further help this ball potential. How do you actually don't stop them? I don't see how Execration do.
Yeah, you're gonna have to try and make a full wraparound happen, right? Because this Geek Slate roster is too coordinated. They're not going to allow you to just find someone on their own.
Should be able to get a pretty easy pick off and look to get out with their own lives as well. So at least they get something. And meanwhile, this is opening up Palace to try and push. And they're actually going to look to try and smoke on Execration. So maybe intercepting the movements from Geek Slate all the way to bottom, where they do have Palace continuing to push at the moment. Carlo can drop the ward behind the tower to give them some information to work with. They're going to see Cox. He does have the ages though, so not the easiest play, and the smoke's gonna pop instantly. Fiend's grip stops short thanks to the arrow, but look at the combination. Shanks lands the stun onto multiple heroes, but now with the Solar Guardian, they need to disperse. They should be able to kite this at the moment, but Bob, he won't have the capability to do so. So they'll kill off the Tiny, and now Cox can U-turn easily to catch up to Carlo as well, as Geek Slate find multiple members.
It's just so deep once again, right? Like, you're playing next to a tier 1 tower, and you were very patient as well on Skem, waiting until that Spike Carapace was absolutely used, complete understanding, instantly joins the fight after that, while also pushing out a lane. Forces a more defensive movement from Execration, even after a lost team fight. So, they're just pulling them around on a string right now, making them go wherever they want to.
Bottom lane, they saw Shanks TP in. Tino's stuck in the tree line as well. The Execration feel like they can fight this. They're starting to bring more members down. Narman falling lower and lower, but a mechanism buys him some time to get the Boundless off. And now Shanks, he's in trouble too, or maybe it's Palace that they want to try and target instead. The Nature's Prophet showed up for the fight. Bob as well as him with a combo. Okay, decent avalanche toss as Skem chain control for the Familiars, but Skem tries to get the combo off. Will turn to Tino into the tree line. Palace is going to buy back. This is a must-fight victory here, but the arrow holds Palos short. Roger into the tree lane will leap away, but Palos will easily secure the kill, and now they'll turn to Force next. But Aurora buys him some movement speed. Force gonna try and scurry out to the northern side, but we blink up in a couple of seconds. It will not look like Force is going to escape, as in the end, a heavy investment out of the buyback on Palace, but they will come out on top.
Yeah, come out with a triple kill. Well worth it if it's going to bring him closer towards that BKB for himself, because you just saw how instantly they were able to turn on him in the middle of these team fights. This is why I was wanting that ranged hero. What's up?
Our voice just, Force, I should say, just all chatted, so come on, get the translate up. Come on.
I'm just going to say that was a really nice grip. I'm sure that's what it says.
Should I all chat translation, please?
No.
Oh. Armin? Palace can't really help out too much. Tino actually starting to tip in again. Let's see if they can take the fight. Tino's pretty taken with the goddamn Wraith Pact. Alos, that's priority number one. If they can try and catch him out, he did buy back prior, but Execration, they're ready. Bob's in. A little bit too late on Shanks' stun, and Rogi will get the leap away.
Doesn't have another one for another 5 or so seconds, but it's like he might just be able to make that escape happen. They might have even seen this Observer Ward go down, but well, maybe not. They realize that Execration have hit this timing where they're wanting to get super aggressive around that Wraith Pact. Drums to come up very shortly, nearly the BKB for Palos, so they've weathered the storm, Execration, and starting to bring it back.
That they have indeed. Palos, such an aggressive TP. Even pre-BKB, Bob, very close.
No
Okay.
So, tier 2.
It was a 9,000 net worth lead at one stage, and now it's going to be cut down to 4,000. So,
has fallen.
very impressed on Execration.
Mm-hmm.
Can
13 on Tino. He's resummoned the familiars, so they've got the boosted up damage. I mean, this is the drums. I believe, yeah, Blink Dagger on Shanks, Echo Saber on Bob. They've got plenty. They can even look to converge easily in onto this tier 1 tower afterwards. There's nothing really stopping them. Tino might just do it with a treants on its own. No backdoor. You're not going to glyph for this.
they will try and smoke down regardless and take the fight on Geek Slate.
I don't know if
They
that's the best
smoked under a
option.
Hawk. And Cox is already preemptively using the Rolling Thunder, but Bob, a blink out along with Shanks as well. Great retreat coming out from Execration. What do they want to do now knowing the Rolling Thunder's on cooldown? A little bit awkward that they did just smoke.
You got another one? I don't think so. Bane's still under the cover of it, but I think you're going to want a little bit more than that to get the true value out there. But just see Palos, give him a few moments, and he will make so much out of it. It was only just a couple of, about a minute or so ago that I said he was close to the BKB. He's already got it, plus another 1,000 gold.
Wow. All right. And that level 20 talent's actually going to be really impactful against the Pango. I mean, I suppose even, yeah, that's really the main one, but even just holding the Dawnbreaker in the middle as well, some of these fights could be really important. So we'll see how fast he's going to be able to get towards that 20 talent. But are we expecting... Well, that is Geek Slate. Moonlight Shadow, they're going to haste.
I think that was scouted out, though. They were just standing next to a creep wave while it was being popped, so you should be able to play a little bit more defensively. Palace should know that
This
he's only
Hawk is
got
giving
about
them a
another
lot of
10 seconds.
information. They're going to see Bob and Tino. Nice reactions with the blink away. Again, just getting out. I think there's a ward there. I don't know if they had a... They didn't have a sentry. I don't know, actually. I'm not quite sure. But Execration, like you said, weathering the storm and continuing to get a lot of farm across the map. And can we see the momentum continue on their side, though? Is there something that maybe the boys on Geek Slate are going to pick up shortly that can kind of stop the confidence that is building on Dai's side?
Nothing massive, to be honest, right? Like, again, there's no one that has or is even remotely close to getting into a 4-star either. So once you hit that level 20 on Palos, they're just not going to have a response to it. You're going to be able to hold someone like the Pango in place with nothing you can do about it.
Give him Bob some time to continue with his farm as well. I was a bit concerned at one stage of the game on if he would be able to scale, but he's got that Echo Saber completed, working on the BKB, and this is definitely a hero that will get to the late game if you're able to find the net worth.
Oh yeah, Tiny always has that impact there.
Shanks again is in a pretty good position to scout out these movements up top, so another kind of gank avoided. They didn't moonlight or smoke for it, but 3 heroes up top and they don't get too much out of it. So Execration doing a really good job to pull Geek Slate across the map.
Not the greatest use of the Wrath of Nature, so they're not going to be able to fight as effectively for the next little bit. That's the big strength of this Execration roster. They have plenty of burst potential, from the Avatos combo to the Wrath of Nature to the Soul Assumption and everything else in between. But once that Wrath isn't available, it does feel like they are significantly weaker. It's kind of telegraphed that they're going to be playing a little bit more defensively, and that's why Palos is now playing inside of his own triangle as opposed to deeper on into the lanes. But they scouted him out regardless. Hawk patrolling past him. Do they have any smokes? And that's the big thing, right? It's not like they have an endless supply of them on Geek Slate to be able to catch out this pesky Nature's Prophet.
Do you have that endless supply of the Moonlight Shadow though, and Roger was kind of pump faking it, so it does look like they're considering about gearing up for a fight. That BKB, yeah, they're good to go. Again, it does get scouted out. This Observer Ward mid lane. So aware of this on Execration. Let's see what the call is going to be. They're going to retreat underneath the ward inside the lane. Oh, uh-oh, this is not good at all. Oh, this is really not good. Shanks, it's going to be up to him to pop the smoke, and hopefully they can get out fast enough with the reactions. But Cox, he's already charging up the Rolling Thunder. Tina will lay down the Wraith Pact. They're going to try and put all their attention over towards the Visage at the moment, but the Aghanim Shard will buy him enough time. Meanwhile, for the left side, though, Skem is just able to get the ultimate off, so he's alive for the moment. Force is even going to look to try and get on top of Palos, as well as there's nothing the Nature's Prophet can do when Geek Slate swarm towards his location. And now Execration, though, they're still in the numbers nearby. Bob, he's ready to jump. Just waiting for the opening, though. Hasn't seen one just yet. And now Tino, he's kind of walked a little bit too far forward. They're slowly starting to poke him down, but Geek Slate will not continue to commit. The arrow almost connects on Carlo, but not the case. So in the end, a 1-for-1. That is the dieback as well onto Palos' Nature's Prophet.
I love the fact that he's using the Rolling Thunder so aggressively on Cox as well. He knows that he's got that Lincoln Sphere. Previously, in that lost team fight in mid, he was the main target of it, but Carlo had no choice. He had to turn around, try and get the Fiend's Grip off onto Scam to get the kill, but it just wasn't enough. And so, as a result, the dieback being expended from Palos, a lot of time off the map, and, well, luckily for Geek Slate, Roshan's already up.
Is this a lineup that really revolves around second Roche, though, on Geek Slate? Can they scale into the late game, or do they kind of have to take firm control and end it with this second one?
I think you would be wanting to end this game with a second Roche for sure. I mean, the Aghanim Shard feels kind of nice for the Beastmaster or the Pangolier. Both of them perfectly fine users of it. So Cox is just going to be able to negate the Enfeeble, for example, to be able to get out of the Gleipnir if he gets caught out of position. So there's some value there for sure.
At Shadow, they're going to see Carlo. Execration, what do you want to do with this information now? Bob once again waiting the wings, but he doesn't actually get the combo onto Narman. So Geek Slate will be able to react. It comes through in the form of the Rolling Thunder, though, so it is now on cooldown. Solar Guard into the middle. Won't be able to cancel it, though. Scam popped the BKB early on to try and play with that ultimate. Bob's going to try and toss Shanks away. Execration continuing to retreat. When is ever an opening for Palos to join? It looks like there won't be with now Bob getting caught out. Wukong gives them control, and there's no hope of Execration to take the fight. As Rogi, he's already looking for more. Giving them the vision inside the jungle. Finally, they're going to look to try and TP down. They're going to be cautious, so as soon as Palos shows, they might look to turn to the Nature's Prophet, but they're going to avoid him. They'll close the distance onto Tino to secure the kill. Execration, land is stun onto 2. Palos, hoping a prayer now with the BKB, trying to man-fight Cox. He'll use the BKB to TP out, but he won't be able to make it. The damage from Scam, thanks to the death, so he's able to go through the magic immunity. Now Geek Slate, they can go high ground.
They can indeed, and they even use the glyph there as well, just to try and get that multi-shot onto people while we were trying to dive underneath that tier 2, but it really wasn't all that effective. Ended up hitting onto one hero as well at the same time. Look at this, they've got the AC at the exact same time that you've got many heroes on Execration unavailable for the defense.
Carlo? They're gonna go for this? Yeah, why not? Bob, not really gonna be able to do too much. In fact, he might give over his own life. A BKB forced out. No way they can hold Scam in now. Cox, there might be an opening. They know the BKB is soon to expire, so they're going to put all their attention to try and deal with Bob. But it's a beautiful nightmare, though. Bob still is alive, trying to slip into the right side, but he won't be able to. And Atos holds him short, and now they're looking for more as well. Execration don't have the numbers as Geek Sleep just turn their home into their own territory. As now with the base soon to fall. And they might go for tier 4s, that's the case.
Why not? Level 20 Beastmaster, they got plenty of attack damage, they got plenty of minus armor. They have one last glyph here, but that's going to be all that they've got to be able to take the rest of this game. Even 2.5 minutes left on the Aegis as well. So what a great cohesion in these team fights coming out from Geek Slate, just punishing the fact that you have 3 heroes that are horrible at defending against this push. And
alright, don't hit the arrow. Shank's going to be in a lot of damage onto Tino. But a boundless strike again from Narman onto 2. And now there's nothing they can do. It's up to Palos against the world. Bob's back alive in a couple of seconds. Going to be cautious about a toss back inside the base. Bob's going to get the combo off onto multiple heroes, but Skem's still alive. And regardless, they're going to turn to deal with the buildings instead. Throne's falling too fast for them to handle. And game 1 will go the way of Geek Slate.
yeah,